Welcome back, everyone. We are back with another technical analysis, and right now we are looking at ENJ coin. So, overall, we see a pretty good probability of the coin to pump like 30% from current market price, leading it to like $34 per coin. And before we even start to acknowledge you and explain everything, the few things we want to clarify with you as well. So, we are using EMAs. So this line here, let's take the highlighter even. So this line here marks 200 EMA. Now, wait, let me remove this one now. This marks 100 EMA. Now this dotted line here marks second moving average, and this line here marks the Bollinger Band's middle line for us. So these are the main indicators that we use, and of course the golden RSI. So now to the technical analysis, we see a similarities to this zone here and this zone here. Now we recently broke out from the EMAs, and usually when we see some kind of breakout from the EMAs, so you can see 200 EMA especially, you can see we have broken some kind of retest. It's not mandatory, but seems at this point it was. And a movement to the upper zones and a crossover of second moving average and Bollinger Band's middle line. Now, same goes here as well. So you can see a crossover and a breakout. Now, this kind of strategy, it doesn't work always because even, for example, we can see we had a breakout and a crossover as well. Of course, the crossover happened exactly here, so we had some kind of like movement to the upper zones, but yet we fell back to the lower zones of the EMAs. Now, we expect to see a possible upward movement. So on 4 hour time frame, let's even keep this one. So we had a nice breakout from the 200 EMA, which is a little bit dangerous, but we'll get to it on hourly time frame. Now we had also the crossover of second moving average and the Bollinger Band's middle line, which means that, let me get this one, which means that second moving average is now below the middle line of Bollinger Bands, and we might see a shift in the trend, which again might result in a further movement to the upper zones. Now, one thing that's interesting, not interesting, but dangerous for the ENG coin is this CMA gap here. Now, we had pretty healthy like breakout, you can see, but yet we haven't retested this zone, and we've left pretty big amount of like unfilled zones here as well. You can see, for example, this one here and this one here as well. Now, there's two ways that might happen, and the best way to explain is on 30-minute time frame as always. So there is a possibility of for a market structure break, which would result in again a retest of this broken zone, so towards this zone here. And as soon as we see the retest, then this would be ideal spot for us to like go in for a possible buying opportunity. Now, the second thing is if we see and possibly form a break of structure, so BOS, then we might see a further movement to the upper zones, and then again we just go for like further movement to upper zones, further, but eventually we can't expand too high because we have to see some kind of like correctional moment. And maybe if not here, then we might see the correction moment to occur closer to this zone here when it takes out fully the liquidity from these zones here. So basically, few zones to take a look at on 30-minute time frame, as we mentioned already, these two zones. So this zone here and also this zone here. And of course, if you're more of like a mid-term player, so it doesn't matter, you don't have to like go for a possible downward movement and try to short it as we are trying, and you can just go for a possible dollar costing the average the coin or whatever, DCAing basically. So this would be the buying zone for you, and this would be the final target zone, more of like not the whole zone, but like this zone here. So this would be the ideal zone where we would be comfortable to take the profits on the ENJ coin. So that's it for the ENJ coin, I think. It's pretty clear. Signs are pretty decent. We had a crossover, we had a breakout. The only thing that concerns us is this CMA gap, but eventually we still have to have some kind of retest. And if we see actually retest here and some kind of like bullish overtake here, then this would be ideal setup for a possible upward movement, which again would come down to risk and reward ratio would be more than enough for this setup. So, as always, stay safe, trade with small leverage, and see you on the next one.